The night was colder than usual, the kind of night when silence felt heavy and every sound carried an edge of danger. A man stood alone by the riverbank, staring into the rushing current that seemed ready to swallow anyone who dared fall in. His clothes were tattered from years of labor, his hands calloused, but his eyes carried something deeper, something unshakable. You wouldn't think a single dad, who once worked 2 jobs just to keep food on the table, would become the one to save the life of a millionaire CEO. But sometimes fate writes stories no one sees coming. And this story, his story, will hold you until the very last word, because it isn't just about saving a life. It's about courage, about justice, and about a father teaching his daughter that bravery isn't born from riches, but from love and sacrifice. He hadn't planned to be at the river that night. Jack Miller, a single father, had been walking home from a late shift when he heard the desperate cry for help. Without hesitation, his instincts took over. He saw a figure clinging to the edge of the bridge, knuckles white, ready to slip into the black water below. In that moment, Jack didn't see status or wealth. He saw a human life hanging by a thread. He rushed forward, gripping the man's arm with every ounce of strength left in him. The struggle was fierce, the current pulling violently, but Jack held on until, gasping and soaked, the stranger collapsed on the ground beside him. That stranger, he would soon learn, was Daniel Harrington, the CEO of one of the largest companies in the city. A man people either envied or despised. A man Jack never imagined he'd stand shoulder to shoulder with. Daniel's first words weren't of gratitude. They were filled with disbelief. He stared at Jack as though trying to reconcile how a man who owned nothing could have risked everything for him. But beneath the surface, Jack saw the truth. Daniel wasn't just a CEO that night. He was broken. Something heavy was crushing him, something powerful enough to drive him to that edge. Jack, the father who once promised his little girl he would never let darkness win, knew he couldn't walk away. So, their paths crossed, 2 men from worlds apart, both carrying scars the world couldn't see. What followed was more than just survival. It was the beginning of a battle neither expected. Because the truth behind Daniel's near death wasn't an accident. It was the result of betrayal, corruption, and a scheme to silence him forever. Jack's choice to intervene pulled him and his daughter into a storm of greed and danger. And yet, in the midst of it all, Jack's daughter, Lily, stood tall, reminding them both of the strength her late mother had carried. Her words, her courage, became the glue binding them in a fight far bigger than themselves. Daniel, humbled and forever indebted, found in Jack not just a savior, but a friend, a brother in arms. Their journey wasn't about money or power. It was about exposing the truth, about showing the world that justice could rise even from the ashes of despair. And together, with Lily's fearless heart leading them, they stood against those who thought wealth gave them the right to destroy lives. The road was painful, the enemies powerful, but every challenge reminded Jack of one thing. He wasn't just fighting for Daniel. He was fighting for his daughter's future, for her to grow up in a world where integrity meant more than fortune. By the end, it wasn't Daniel's wealth that turned the tide. It was Jack's unshakable will and the bravery that Lily carried, just like her mom once had. This story isn't just about a single dad saving a CEO. It's about how love can turn weakness into strength, and how justice, no matter how buried, can always find the light. And as you reach the end, you'll know why some stories never leave us, because they remind us that the greatest wealth is not measured in gold or power, but in courage, loyalty, and the love we leave behind.